How to find the perfect house in Coppell, Texas. That is our mission for today. We're going to go into where Coppell even is to start off. We're going to look at the real estate in Coppell at the current moment. And we're going to actually do a deep dive on a property as if we were buying it. So that means that we're going to zero in on a property that we might have some interest in, check out all the pictures, check out the description, check out the details of the property, because I want to give you an idea of how to appropriately analyze a home so you don't waste a ton of time looking at thousands and thousands of homes, getting stressed out and frustrated because there's just so many things to look at. So there's a few key things that we want to look at whenever we're searching for homes, at least online. And then we're going to go into the breakdown on how to purchase this property with 3 different loan types. That way you get to see what the mortgage payment looks like, what the property taxes look like, the homeowner's insurance, and everything in between. So we're going to go from where the location is, again, Coppell. We're going to ask ourselves 3 main questions that we ask all of our clients to consider, go into a deep dive on a home, and then also give the breakdown on what 3 loan types will actually, 3 loan scenarios to give you an idea of what the mortgage looks like. So that is on our vision board for today. So let's begin. Now, as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to help this YouTube channel grow and help this video reach more people that need this type of information. So let's begin. All right, so let's do this. We are going to go into Coppell, which is, it's one of my favorite cities. If not, can I say it's my favorite? It's a top 3 favorite city of mine in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Coppell is one that I used to go to church there. My community is there. All that fun stuff. It's just, I mean, it's world class. Coppell has incredible schools, has incredible location, has incredible real estate, has incredible people. It's just one of those cities that is also one of those that I consider a destination city. And the destination city meaning people would love to live here, except the budget may not necessarily be there. So people work their entire lives to try to buy a home in Coppell. And it's just one of those cities that is, again, a 5-star experience. So we're going to click into Coppell. And I didn't point it out there, but I probably should have, that the median price point here, or the average price point, is about $700,000, which you're going to see what that looks like here shortly. So let's talk about those 3 questions that we ask ourselves. So just think of it like this, the 3 C's. The number 1 is the commute. What type of commute do you want to have? Oftentimes, whenever you're looking for a new area, if you're not as familiar with it, you're going to go mostly around the, well, what is my commute going to look like? So if you work from home, it might not be as important for you. But if you have an office or a location that you need to be at every single day, and that's your workplace, well, the commute does matter. So that's the first question you're going to ask yourself whenever you're looking for an area, for a new area to live in. What commute do we need to have? Well, with Coppell, you have the benefit of it being the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It is actually the heart, given that you cannot get any more central than this. You can hit up Denton relatively easy through 35 East. You can get down to Fort Worth through 114 and 121 relatively easy. Dallas is just a straight shot through 35 East as well. And then you can hit up Sam Radford up to the McKinney area. So at any point in time, this is the most centrally located city in the entire Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. This is one of those, again, not only is it a phenomenal community, which we'll talk about here shortly, but when it comes to commute, it's very, very, very challenging to beat Coppell. So number 1, the first question, the first C, is commute. What commute do you need and want to have? Number 2, what type of community do you want? Are you looking for the schools? Is that a very big priority of yours? Are you looking for restaurants, high-end restaurants? Are you looking to a place where you can go outdoors? Are you looking for what community do you want to have? What type of environment do you want around you? With Coppell, here again, it ranks so high with incredible restaurants, with the ability to go on pretty much any trail around here. There's a good amount of things to do in the Coppell area. Now, even if you're not able to find this specific, say, entertainment option that you're looking for, you're going to have relatively close access to anything that you want to do. You can hit Grapevine up and do a lot of the recreation activities there. You can also go up here to the Colony, where you have the all of the growth up here with all of the new construction that's going on. You have, what am I looking for? I'm looking for Grandscape. That's what I'm looking for. All of this is basically brand new, just an incredible amount of things to do. So it's not that far. So that's the second thing that you're looking at, is the commute. And then the third is the cost. This is essentially the budget. So what type of budget are you looking for? What type of cost when it comes to real estate can you afford? So the 3 C's that you're looking for whenever you're searching for a new place to live, you're looking at the commute. What does that need to look like? Community, what type of community do I need? And then 3, what cost? What's the cost? How much is it going to cost for me to live in this area? Those are the 3 C's. All right, so with that being said, let's check out the homes now that we know where the heck Coppell even is. But let's check out the homes available for us. There's 81 homes available for sale in Coppell right now. So it's not a ton of options, given that Coppell is not a big city. It is a city that's pretty much landlocked. You're not going to find new construction in Coppell, given that it's been basically built out at the moment. Now you're going to find a few here and there, but don't count on a ton of options there. The least expensive home for sale right now in Coppell is $325,000. So you have 2 homes that are under $300,000. So you see that there on the smaller side. And it's basically, you're looking at a 2 beds and 1 bath, and then, 2 beds and 2 baths. So here, these are the only options that you have available for under $400,000. So that gives you an idea of the expense necessary, the cost necessary to buy in the Coppell area. Now, you're going to see a few more options in the 400,000s, but not by much. You're probably going to see about 15 homes, give or take a bit. And you're going to quickly find yourself in the 500,000s. As I scroll down, we're going to be there right now. So we're in the 500,000. So again, you're going to have maybe 15 options or so in the 400,000. So that gives you an idea of the type of price, the type of budget that you need to be in to purchase a home. So if you're looking at a home, and let me rephrase that, if you need a home over 2,000 square feet, you're not in under $500,000, you're not going to find it in Coppell. That just does not exist. This is maybe 5 years ago you'd be able to find that, but right now that's just not on the cards. That's not going to be a big it's not going to be a huge opportunity for you with that larger home. Now we're going to scroll through here just a few more seconds here before we go to the luxury side, just to give you an idea of what the prices would look like from the luxury side. And then we're going to drill down in one particular home that we're going to run the numbers on to give us an idea of how much it would actually cost us to buy this home. So we're going to go to the we're going to go to the luxury side to see what it's going to cost us to buy in Coppell. So here, the most expensive home for sale in Coppell right now is off of Shady Dell, which makes sense. It's almost $3 million. So $2,975,000, almost 8,000 square feet. What a phenomenal piece of real estate here. Now, we're not going to scroll through here, but just want to give you kind of a brief taste of what this looks like. Oops. Look at that. Well, I said we weren't going to scroll through here, but we're going to go quick. I want to get into the breakdown as quickly as possible to get us as much info as we can. Look at this. What a beautiful home. Modern home. Pretty modern. Very elegant. Very good color selection. Incredible kitchen. Check out that floor. Just check out that floor. That's awesome. Treated concrete. So dope. I enjoy that. I know we breezed through this, but that's not where we're going to find the most value today. That's not the one that we're going to do a breakdown on. So remember, we're answering for the 3 C's, the commute, the community, and the cost. And then we're going to jump, which we just did. What we're going to do now is we're going to find one of these properties that we're going to run some numbers on, and we're going to do a deep dive on them on the property to see ultimately if we want to buy this house or not. So let's say there are all so many good options. Let's pretend we're going to buy this property right here. This is a stereotypical Coppell home. When I say stereotypical, I mean this is a standard. This is something that you're going to find quite a bit with this type of real estate in Coppell. So we're gonna click on this, and right now this home is being offered for $689. So $689, that's what we're looking at. So just like most of your home searches begin, we're gonna go to the online portals, and I like to use your interface that you're most likely using, which is most likely gonna be Zillow. This is gonna give you this is going to also allow for familiarity, and really, truth be told, Zillow has better pictures. So they provide more, I guess, resolution on the images. So we're going to use those. All right, so this home is being offered again $689, so $689,000. Let's see here. All right, so a quick disclaimer, super quick disclaimer as we break down this analysis. So where we're going for the rest of the video is pretty simple. We're gonna look at at this home the same way that you would look at it through the pictures. So that's where we're gonna start. Then we're gonna go into the description and see, look for some things that are gonna help us determine if this is the type of property that we want to purchase. We're gonna look at some expenses that sometimes get overlooked, and then we're gonna go into a full breakdown on 3 financing options to purchase this home. So that's where we're going through the rest of the video. But the disclaimer that I want to give you is there's going to be some things as we look at this property, as we look at the description, as we do this analysis, there are going to be some things that I'm going to say that might sound a little bit judgmental. They're going to sound a little bit just trivial. It's going to sound like I am critiquing. That is not where my not my intent. I'm going to call a few things out here, which might sound a little bit direct, a little bit blunt, but the reason that I do that is because the small things can bleed over to the larger things. So meaning if I call out something that seems just so inconsequential, that's so tiny, well, the reason that I'm doing that is because typically how someone handles the smaller things, as an example, landscaping on the outside, if I share that, hey, it's a little bit it could use some work, well, that kind of gives you an idea of the type of maintenance that was or was not had on the interior of the home. So we're making some assumptions. We're adding some additional context. So again, the small things really oftentimes have a big give you a big indicator on how the bigger things were handled. Now, the second thing that I want to share is that whenever you're searching for a property and you're touring through home after home, you're not going to spend a ton of time in that property that you're going to ultimately purchase. The first time that you visit a home, you're probably going to spend 30 to 45 minutes. And then you're going to start making your decision on, hey, do I want to put an offer on this home? And especially in a very, very competitive real estate market, oftentimes that's the only time that you have to see the property before you actually have to submit an offer, because there's so much demand, right? So you're making how much is this again? Almost a $700,000 decision based off of a 30-minute viewing window, right? So that's why I'm just so specific with certain things that I call out. So number one, because the small things give you an idea about the larger things. And then number two, because you do not have a ton of time to look at the property itself. So that's why a real estate professional advisor that is looking out for your interest would point out a few things that you might consider, right? So it gives you that different perspective. So that's where I'm coming from when we're doing this breakdown. All right, so right out of the gate, this is a brick home. As you can see, there's not a ton of stone in this particular home, and that's okay. That's something that with these types of homes, I'm gonna say a year, but I'm gonna be wrong. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cheat a little bit and see what year this property was built. 1998. So yeah, in the late 90s. So that's about right. Some things that I noticed right out of the gate is you have some gutters. So gutters right here, gutters right here, gutters right here, and it looks to be a wraparound, so that's good. You have a screen here. So with these shades here, this lets me know that this is probably facing either, where's the map? This is probably facing the east, if I had to guess, based off of where the window shades are. So those screens are. So there's going to be a good amount of heat or sunlight that is being blocked, but more than that is going to be the heat that is trying to reduce. The landscaping, there appears to be some renovation done or some updated landscaping, because this is all baby landscaping, meaning it was just done, so you don't have more established shrubs like you see over here. So there's been some work that was done to get this property, I wouldn't say prepared to sell, but I would say that there's been some recent work on the outside that cleaned up the front side of the home. Now the grass right now, it's blistering hot, so keeping grass as green as possible, that's just not a reality. So we're not going to fault them on, because it's green enough for the heat that we're experiencing now. All right, so right out of the gate, I like the pitch of the home. So it looks like there's going to be some good drainage here. So typically, especially in areas that you see that have a few more hills, you run into a situation where one house may be on top of the other house, where all that runoff, all the water hits the foundation of your home, which you don't want. So whenever that happens, you're looking for French drains to pull away some of that water, and it doesn't become an issue later on in your home ownership. So you're seated up top, you're in a nice little mount, which is fantastic. And again, calling out the gutters, which is good. I can already see that the fence is gonna have some good room to run. It looks it was stained at some point. It's 6 feet. It's double paned, I believe, but we'll see it here shortly. It's a brick throughout, so there's no siding on the side. All right, so hand scraped wood floors, which is beautiful. We love to see it. This looks like the entrance right out of the gate. You see this feels like a Highland home. Highland is a builder, a very popular builder around here. It just feels like a Highland home right out of the gate. All right, so you have the entrance here. On the left hand side, it appears that instead of it being like a little reception area, which you would typically see, it was made into an office, which looks good. So you have a lot of white around here, and then you have some brick. This is not actual brick, this is painted on brick, I believe, but it does have a unique look to it. So this is wallpaper, I believe, or painted or wallpaper. I don't believe that this is actually brick. Yeah, it's not. Okay, that's a unique look. It's funny that they photoshopped the picture of the house there. All right, so I do like the flooring. The flooring all throughout. Well, I guess through over here is hardwood floors. Then you have tile, which is I would say pretty normal with the kitchen. I mean, it is normal with the kitchen. We have, again, this property was built in the late 1990s. So you have some updates since then. Now the cabinets are the original. However, the countertops are granite, so that has been updated. And you have the sink, the sink and faucet being updated with the range as well. Now this appears to be this does not appear to be a gas. This does not have gas in it. This is it appears to be electric for your cooktop. And you have updated ovens over here with stainless steel appliances. All right, so we have white in the entrance. We have a tan over here on the right hand side of the property. And then we have one second, got a text real quick. And then we have the yellow in the kitchen. Now, you know what would be pretty cool is if the cabinets were painted black, that would look pretty dope. But we're gonna not make suggestions right now. All right, so let's see. All right, so this appears to be the primary bedroom, and you're looking at a very sizable room. So this is I think this is off of the kitchen, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is probably off of the right side. So the living room's going to be over here on the left-hand side. Then you have your primary bedroom with your primary bath here, which you're going to have your tub and your shower. And you're going to have your dual sinks over here, most likely. I didn't see the dual sinks, but I'm gonna guess that there's one over here. And then your large walk-in closet. Now there's another room here, which there's another office here. So this is another room. Then you have another room. So I think this was 4 bedrooms, right? I don't remember how many bedrooms there were, but you have space is what we're talking about. The bathroom was updated. So again, keep in mind, this is a late 1990s home, and you have another dual sink, updated bathroom with the shower and tub connected in this particular case. And your laundry room, very good size. You know, it'd be pretty cool here would be a pergola. I know this is me now, this is just me just straight up giving suggestions here, but I do like this space. So that means that, okay, yeah, I think I am correct. So the front of the house is east facing, and then the back of the house is gonna be west facing. So when the sun is going down, you're gonna see and absorb most of the heat over here in the backyard. Something to be mindful of in case that's of importance to you. And I do like the fact that there are gutters all the way throughout the house. So you have the gutters up here, gutters up here, gutters up here, so you don't have to spend money in installing them yourself. And with a home of this price, a home of this age, it's not uncommon that somebody has already installed the gutters. You wouldn't be the first person that have thought about installing those altogether. So you're in a good spot. You have a very strong fence here. You have a steel. You don't have wood posts here. You have what words am I thinking of? Steel. So you have a recently built fence, or a modestly recently built fence, which has a lot of room to run. Good size property. So rear entry, beautiful. So the cul-de-sac is over here, and it looks like you have some neighbors down here that have some pools, so that'll be good. Or your front neighbor that also has a pool, so you can go and check them out. So okay, so this is the property, okay, and the pools are over here. You have some solar, awesome. Alrighty, so let's buy this house. Let's do well, actually, no, sorry. We gotta do the rest of the description update. I'm sorry, the rest of the description search, and see what other information we need or we get before we do the breakdown of how much we would be paying for this property. Price improvement, so that essentially means price drop. Come see this wonderful home in the highly sought after community of Coppell. True. This spacious floor plan offers 4 bedrooms with an additional room that can serve as a game room or a 5th bedroom. The expansive kitchen features granite countertops and plenty of storage. Facts. The formal living and dining rooms provide even more space for gathering, work, or play. The home features a lengthy list of upgrades, including a recently updated roof. So you have a brand new roof. Awesome. Both AC units recently replaced. We were going to test that on the age of the home, but the fact that they called it out, that's even more beautiful. A new water heater, we were also going to cover that, and solar screens, east and west facing windows. Yep. So we're doing well. We're doing well in our analysis so far. So the reason that they're calling out that the solar screens are in the east and western facing was because I almost guarantee you that the property is facing to the east, and then the backside is facing to the west, which that's when most of the heat is going to be, or the sun's going to be beaming down on you. Located in the popular vistas of Coppell subdivision, this home provides walkable access to Andrew Brown Park. So Andy Brown Park is the main park there in Coppell, and Denton Creek Trail, and a short walk to the fantastic schools in Coppell ISD. Coppell ISD, I mean, is just a standard. So whenever you're talking about Coppell ISD, whenever you're talking about Plano ISD, whenever you're talking about now Frisco ISD, like there is just some premier schooling that happens with this ISD. So people make decisions around the ISD. A lot of our clients that go there are specifically because of Coppell ISD. Don't miss your chance to tour this spacious home in one of DFW's favorite neighborhoods. I don't know why I keep calling it neighborhoods, or, I'm sorry, communities and neighborhoods. It's a city. Coppell's a city. Let's do this. All right, so we are in Dallas County. That's going to be important for us as we do our property tax breakdown. Now, typically, in some of the searches, you're going to find what is being paid for in property taxes right now. So what the homeowner is paying in property taxes. This particular listing didn't give us that information, which is fine. We were going to do the breakdown anyway, but sometimes you're going to see the amount be reflected around here of how much the homeowner is paying for property taxes, which just gives you a ballpark. It's not going to be exact. It just gives you a ballpark of what property taxes are going to be, but it's not going to be what you're going to be paying. I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate that. 4 beds, 2.5 bath, over 3,100 square feet. So if you have over 3,100 square feet with 4 beds and 2.5 baths, that means that these rooms, 1, are large, and 2, you're gonna have some common spaces as they were even mentioning there. There was one that you could even turn into a bedroom if you wanted to. So for it to be 4 beds and 2.5 baths at this square footage, that gives you a good idea that there's gonna be a ton of space. On almost a fifth of an acre, so 0.182 acres, so it's a good size lot. The rest of the information is going to be pretty standard. The association fees, $350. This seems a little bit low. I know you don't want to hear that, but homeowners association, I feel, if I had to guess, I would not put it past them to charge $350 twice every year, so biannually. But let's see if they call that out. Here's the 350 is a little sus for my taste. Number of garages, 2, HOA, blah, blah, blah. Year built, 1998. So the one thing that I was going to mention before they brought it up, which I'm glad that they did, was about home age. So whenever you're looking at a home that is 26 years old, at this point, you're going towards, if you're looking at a home that's built in the late 1990s, at this point, you're looking for some major units to be replaced, like an HVAC unit. At this point, you're probably looking at a home that has a recent or 5-year. It's been 5 years since they replaced at least one HVAC unit. If not, that means that, well, here in the very near future, if they're still working on the original HVAC unit or units, you're going to be on the hook for replacing them because they're not designed to be beyond 30 years. That's just, especially in the Texas heat and in the Texas winter, it's quite challenging. So the fact that they've already replaced them, that's phenomenal. Same thing with water heaters. Water heaters is something that at this size, you'd probably be working on the second or third water heater, truth be told. So the fact that they've already called out some of the major things like the roof, the HVACs, the water heater, you're in a really good spot from the big ticket items. And they have also updated several parts of the home. Is this how you spell architectural? This is the random. How do you spell architectural? Here I said I don't want to be judgmental. And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I just noticed that. And this is something that this is not something that the realtor types in. I don't know what made me think about this or look at this. This is the design of the website, the online portal. That's so interesting. Okay. Moving on. That was funny. Annual fee. Okay. Hey, HOAs are not bad here. $350 for a Coppell ISD home. I'm not mad at it. Now, are you going to get a ton of amenities? No, you're probably not going to get any amenities, but the HOA is reasonable, which I don't believe that there's a HOA includes management fees. Well, there's no community pool, there's no nothing, so you're not getting anything for this HOA, but you are going to have to pay for it. So $350, I guess, is a good trade-off. It's just going to consider it a tax of living here, because that's what it would be. All right, so the rest of the information we're going to be good without. Well, we already know it's Coppell ISD. So it's Dallas County, Coppell ISD. Awesome. Okay, let's buy this house at $689. So let's go into our Loan Clarity Advisor. $689 real quick. Now, this is linked down below. This tool that you see here, this is created by the Win the House You Love YouTube channel, which is a friend of the channel, a friend of mine, Kyle Seagrace, created this tool that we use here internally for all of our clients, our discovery calls, go straight through the loan clarity advisor, along with other tools that Kyle has created, which he's a loan officer, and is really helps us from helping a ton of people here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So this is linked down below for you to check out. Also, you can just go to winthehouseyoulove.com and get this exact same tool so you can make the analysis in your neck of the woods. All right, so with that being said, let's go into the scenario. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to pretend we're going to purchase this property, and we're going to give ourselves 3 loan options. We're going to give ourselves 3 types of loans to see what it's going to cost us from a mortgage perspective. So first off, we need to understand taxes and insurance. Now, if you don't want to do some of the math that we're about to do, don't do it. Just go to estimates, go to Texas, and then as I call out the property tax and homeowners insurance rates, just toggle this left and right, and you're going to be in a good spot. For our purposes today, I'm going to show you exact amounts because 1, I like being a little bit more exact, but 2, it's a good opportunity for me to share with you some things to consider. And when it comes to property taxes, to homeowners insurance, it allows for a good conversation to happen from using exact amounts, because I want to be precise, and also it's going to be helpful for you. All right, so with that being said, we're going to purchase this house in Coppell, and what we're going to do is we are going to find the property tax rate. So we're going to go Coppell, Texas, property tax rate. All right, so we have City of Coppell. All right, so let's talk about this for a quick second. Property taxes for a quick second. Property taxes are, let's start all the way back. Whenever you purchase a property, you're going to be paying property taxes. That's just a way of life. So the moment you stop paying property taxes is when you sell the home. Now, the second thing to understand about property taxes is that Texas has some of the highest property tax rates in the country. In fact, it's number 6, with New Jersey being number 1. So Texas has high property taxes. It's just a way of life. It's a trade-off for not having state income tax. Now, that's the second thing to understand. Now, the third thing to understand about property taxes, especially here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, is there's up to 5 numbers that we need to find in order to get our true property tax rate. So up to 5 numbers that we need to find. So we're going to need to find the city tax rate, the county tax rate, and the ISD tax rate. These 3, for sure, we need to find them regardless of the city that we're looking in. Denton, Carrollton, Allen, Frisco, Dallas, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, Arlington, Grapevine, I can go on and on. Regardless of the city, we're just talking about Coppell today. Regardless of the city, we need to find those 3 numbers, and we're going to add them together for sure. The city, the county, the ISD. Now, there's 2 additional tax rates that oftentimes come up, and that's the higher education tax. So think of community college, and a hospital network tax. So if you're in Fort Worth as an example, JPS Hospital Network. If you're in Dallas as an example, then the hospital network there is going to be Parkland, right? So these 2 tax rates sometimes come up. So what we need to do right now is we need to find what those first 3 that I just mentioned are for Coppell, and then also see if there's additional numbers to consider. So right out of the gate, we're just going to go to Coppell, Texas, property tax rate. We're going to Google that, and we're going to go straight to the city website to see if they give us that information right out front. And I can already tell they do not. The challenging part about property taxes is that when you go to the website where it should be, many cities just do not include this information, which I don't understand why, but it's just very challenging. So if you cannot find the up to 5 numbers that I just referenced on the city website, we're going to need to go to the county directly. So here we're in Dallas County. Now, don't let all of these numbers intimidate you. You are going to dominate these. Do not let these numbers win or just become too much, right? So what we're going to do right now is we are going to use the information that we have, that we know, and add the numbers ourselves manually. So we're going to need some confidence. So remember the 5 numbers that we're going to end up searching for. 1 is going to be the city, 2 is going to be the county, 3 is the ISD, 4 is the higher education, and then 5 is the hospital network. So in this particular case, let's find the city. So let's go control find Coppell. So we have Coppell. So we're going to need this number, 0.4918. Now we're also going to need to find the ISD. So the ISD right here is 1.05. Awesome. And then we're also going to need to find the county, which is all the way up here, Dallas County, which is this one. And then we're also going to add in the higher education one, so the college, Dallas Community Colleges, which is that one. And we're also going to add the Parkland Hospital one. Now here's the thing. You might not need the Parkland Hospital one, nor the Dallas College one. That might not be necessary. Why? Well, because every city is different. So the first three, I can guarantee you, the city, county, ISD, you're going to need regardless. These other two, we can add as a precaution just to make sure, or we can do a bit of a hack and take the property. This I can't show you because I don't want to dox anybody, but we can go straight to the Dallas CAD and search for this property to see what taxes were assessed against this property. And the reason I'm not going to show this on screen is because when you go to the CAD, it actually shows the homeowner. And I do not want to do that, do not want to show that, because I see their names right now. They might not appreciate that. And also when it comes to the what do you call it? When it comes to YouTube, they also don't like that. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So this is one of those rare cases we're gonna have six tax rates. So get ready. Get ready. All right, so I know I said that we're going to look for up to 5, and 90% of the time that's going to be true. Like there's 9% of the time there's going to be up to 5 numbers. The city, the city, the county, ISD, the higher education, and hospital network. But sometimes there's special district, whether it's a water district, whether it's a mud district, so municipal utility district, which is basically the same thing. A public improvement district, which is PIDs. So there's some other tax out there, right? So it's not as common. You're going to see it more on cities that are a little bit more suburbs than the center part of the DFW Metroplex. So not a big deal. What we're going to do though is we are going to take the information that we now have to get a really good number, like the exact number of what our property tax is going to be, because we're going to need to calculate it based off of this. So let's start talking about property taxes for a quick second. Well, we've been talking about property taxes. So we're going to find the property tax rate right now, and we're going to multiply times let me just show you what I'm talking about. But I also want to make sure that the individual's name is not on here anywhere, because I want to keep this video up. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is the exact home that we are pretending to purchase right now. This home right here at 689. Now this home is being taxed from the city level, which we knew, the ISD level, which we also knew, and we already have these numbers. I just showed them to you on this. Like I just showed them to you. So we were going to add those together. The county, the Dallas College, so the higher education, Parkland Hospital, so that hospital network, and this particular home, and most, if not all, now it's going to be most homes in Coppell are going to have this Denton County lid. I'm going to say it's, I don't know what lid is, to be blunt with you. And then unless this is their way of saying, because I'm used to seeing PIDs, public improvement districts, and then MUDs, municipal utility districts, unless they're just replacing the first letter. This seems right. This seems right based off of the taxes that they're assessing. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to add this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. Now we see the estimated taxes right now, which we'll talk about here shortly. But what we're going to do is we're going to add these together so we can get a more exact number. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 0.49188, 1818 So I'm over here, folks. I'm right here. So that's the city ISD, city property tax rate. Now I'm going to add Coppell ISD, 1.0535. Now I'm going to add county, 0.215718 plus. Now I'm going to add college, 0.110028 plus. Hospital, 0.2195 plus. What am I plussing? The special district, which is 0.169. All right, now I know those are a lot of numbers. I get that. So what that comes out to is 2.2. We're going to round up to 2.26%. You're not going to believe this, but this is actually on the lower end of property taxes in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the range is 1.8 to about 3%. So 1.8 on the lowest end, and those are going to be like properties in Colleyvilles of the world, the South Lakes of the world, the Highland Parks of the world. That's where you're going to find those. And in the higher end, those are going to be in the 3%. Now with Coppell, even though Coppell is one of my favorite cities of all time, I'll be completely frank. Even though that this is smaller in terms of, or on the lower end of the property taxes, Coppell, on average, as a Coppell resident, you pay on average, if not the most, one of the most amount in property taxes in the entire DFW Metroplex. Sorry. It's going to be between you and Frisco. You two are, so if you're a Coppell resident or Frisco residents, congratulations. You're on the podium of how much you pay in property taxes when you compare it against the other folks on average. I know it's not the Olympics you want to be a part of, but congratulations. Anyway, so with that being said, this particular home, I know that there's an estimate here, and we're going to use that to really explain the difference between assessed value and market value. This is what I was kind of hemming and hawing about here. So notice that this price of $689, this is, if it sells for this amount, this is what's called the market value. The market value of the home is what you're selling your home for. So that's what the market is going to buy it as. So we're going to pretend that we're buying it at $689. So this is the market value. When we do our calculations here on this YouTube channel, we give you the property tax rate, which you just saw how to do that. We take this and multiply times the market value. Not because we don't know any better, but because we want to give you a conservative monthly tax bill. So that's number one. I know that when we multiply this times that, we're technically not doing it right because of what I just mentioned with the we're using the market value. What you're going to be taxed on is going to be the assessed value. So this right here, this taxable value, notice that it's radically like $100,000 less than this. It's radically less. And with the school, it's even less because you have exemptions here, you have exemptions here, you have exemptions throughout. So this is different throughout. The reason that we do it this way, the reason that we multiply times the market value is, again, I want to give you a conservative number. That's one. Two, there's no really true exact way for me to show you the exact assessed value because this is something that is being proposed right now, and you won't necessarily be getting the same assessed value because you're going to have different taxes whenever you purchase the property, or assessed value when you purchase the property. And then third, eventually, as the homes continue to appreciate, the number that we give you here based off of this price is going to ultimately become true. Meaning you're not going to be paying this monthly property tax bill right now, but you will, assuming homes continue to go up, in the next 5, 8, 10 years. I know I said a lot there, but just giving you an idea of what we're talking about here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put 0.02259. That is our property tax. And we're going to multiply that times 689. And that's going to give us property taxes of $15,564. Now, let's talk about this for a quick second. I recognize that this is $3,000 more than the estimated taxes. And that's by design. Your actual, what you're going to be paying is not going to be this. At least today, you're not going to be paying this because we use the market value. But you're also not going to be paying this. Whenever you purchase the property, the county knows what you bought it for. So the county is going to be using that in consideration whenever they're going to reassess the value of your home. Also, you're going to have different exemptions on this property. So chances are your property taxes are going to be roughly in the $14,000 or so, which is going to be somewhere in between the $15,000 that I just quoted you and the $12,000 that the county is saying that you're going to be paying in property, or this particular homeowner is paying in property taxes, because this particular homeowner and this tax bill has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with the assessed value of the home right now and the homeowner. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Chano, what's up? Hope you're doing well. What are you up to? What are you up to? All right, so we're what we got to do now is we got to do this. We got to take the yearly property tax bill that we're estimating. We're going to divide that by 12 to give us the monthly. So that's $12.97. We're going to type that in. I know it's a beating, but now you have these numbers, right? So now that you know it's 2.29% or whatever it was. Now you know it whenever you're doing the calculation. So that's why I'm going through that's why we're going through so much detail here in Coppell. Homeowners insurance is a little bit easier. We just basically multiply the market value of the home, and we multiply that point times 0.75%. So essentially less than 1%, just under 1%. So we're going to do 0.0075. So that's 0.75%. So 0.0075, if you're going to multiply it, times 689. And it's going to give you the yearly homeowners insurance premium, which is going to be $51.67. So we're going to divide that by 12. And we're going to say that we're paying $431 a month for homeowners insurance. Now, this is an estimated premium. This is going to give you a good ballpark of what you would be paying in homeowners insurance, so you have an idea of what that would end up being. All right, so HOAs. So the HOAs we saw, what was it? HOA was what, 350? So we're going to divide that by 350 divided by 12. So our HOA is going to be $29. Now, are you going to be paying the HOA every month? No. The HOA gets billed at the beginning of the year through an invoice. So you're not going to be paying it in the mortgage itself. Chano, I make $120K a year before taxes. Can I afford a $308,000 home? We can take a quick detour if you would like. Let's do this. I'll show you how much you can afford right now. So you make 120. Great question. Let's say you buy with 5% down right now. And the interest rate is 6.56%, which is roughly what the interest rate is right now. If we're going to use the property tax rate that Coppell gives us at the moment, and the rest of the information is about right, the HOA fee is not going to matter for our calculation. Do you have any debt, Chano? If you don't have any debt, I'm going to go ahead and do the calculation already. But just to give it an idea, again, we're talking about 5% down. If you do more than 5% down, then you're going to qualify for more. But right now, if you don't have any debt, you're looking at being able to afford that $308,000 home pretty comfortably. You would get a conservative loan, which roughly would translate to about $2,800 a month. And then you can purchase a property up to $500,000, assuming there is no debt. So that is the breakdown there. So a long way of saying, yes, you can absolutely afford one. If you would love for us, for us to help facilitate that for you, just our contact information is down below. Happy to schedule a discovery call with you to go through options. 50K truck, yeah, you're gonna have no issue. Not issue, no issue at all. So what's your payment on that channel? Would it be what? $600, $700 a month on that truck payment? Yeah, you're going to be in a good spot. You're going to be in a good spot. All right, so let's continue. Let's look at the options. So again, our goal here is to purchase this property at $689,000 in Coppell. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves three different options. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to go conventional. I'm going to do 20%. First time home buyer and your monthly payment's $800. Yeah, you're going to have no issue. No issue at all. All right. So let's look at the three different financing options that we're going to give ourselves as we purchase this home. So when we purchase this home, we're going to look at three different ways to finance this. We're going to either finance this through conventional 5% down, FHA 5% down, or conventional 20% down. These are the three options that we're going to give ourselves. Now, if we get a conventional loan, the minimum down payment that we would need would be about 3% down. That would be the minimum. You can do more, of course, but the minimum would be 3%. If you get an FHA loan, the minimum down payment would be 3.5%. So again, you could do more, but you can't do less. It's 3.5%. Now there's other types of loans, but these primarily are the two most common types of loans. Now, we're going to go with 5% down on both of these options because that's what is most common with our clients, that they put 5% down. So we're going to go through those options or use this 5% scenario. One of the things that I want to call out though is if you put less than 20% down on the purchase of a home, whether it's you get a conventional loan or an FHA loan, you're paying what's called mortgage insurance. You think the interest rate will come down? They make a huge difference between 3 and 7%, 100%. Yeah, so I suspect here in September the interest rates are going to come down once again, and right now with the interest rate is 6.56 or so. I do reasonably expect them to touch the 5%. Now, what a lot of our clients are doing right now is we're buying new construction, including myself. I am buying a new construction home right now because of the favorable interest rates that new construction brings. So it's not uncommon for you to get into a loan of 4%, 5% right now through new construction, but we can absolutely have that conversation. Our contact information is down below, which you can schedule a call or just send us an email at hello@the DFW Homeowner, and we can run some numbers for you specifically for your situation, so you can see all of your options that you have available for you at the moment. So yeah, 100%. I do believe that the rates are going to come down. I don't know the future with precision, but I do have a strong sense that that's what's going to happen. Awesome. And I would like to buy new construction too in Crandall. You're in a good spot. You're in a good spot to do so. 100%. 100%. All right. So if you put less than 20% down on the purchase of your home, you're going to be paying what's called mortgage insurance. Now, what's mortgage insurance? Mortgage insurance is a insurance that the lender puts on you in the event that you default. So if you default, the lender gets the property back, which they were going to get anyway, and they're also taking an insurance on you in the event that that happens. So essentially they're hedging their bet on you, and you get to pay for that additional expense. So you're going to be paying mortgage insurance on top of that for them taking on the liability with you. Now, whenever you get a conventional loan, if you, again, this only comes into play if you pay less than 20% down on the home. If you get a conventional loan, what's going to happen is after you get 20% ownership of your home, as you're making payments, which in about 10 years on paper is what it would look like, you would get rid of that mortgage insurance. So eventually that mortgage insurance falls off, so that what you're paying every single month falls off. With an FHA loan, that mortgage insurance does not fall off. You're going to be paying that forever and for always. So either you pay off the loan altogether, FHA loan, or you refinance out of that loan, or you sell the house. That's the only way to get rid of that mortgage insurance, through the FHA loan. Those are two big distinctions. Now, with that being said, we got to find out what the interest rates are right now. So these change every single hour. So what is the interest rate right now to purchase a home? We're going to go to bank rate. That's where I encourage you to go, because it gives you more accurate information and up to date. So you see here on Sunday, August 25th, which is the time of this recording, the rate right now on average is 6.56%. So we're going to use that. We're going to go 6.56%. And we're going to go 6.56%. And we're going to go 6.56%. So we're going to try to compare as many apples to apples as possible. All right, so points. Let's talk about points, which kind of gets back to the example that I just shared with, or the comment that I just made to Chano. Points. What are points? Points is where you buy down the interest rate. So if you get an interest rate of 6.56% right now, just in the open market, if you will, you can buy down that interest rate by buying down points, by using points. So whenever you buy a point, you get to reduce this interest rate by a fraction. So here, roughly, if you buy 1 point, you're probably going to drop your interest rate down to 6.28, 6.3 or so, roughly around there. So you would be dropping it about 1/4%. Now, what's that going to cost you? Well, it's going to cost you 1% of the loan value. So if you borrowed $650,000 as an example, then that's going to cost you $6,500 to buy down 1 point. You can buy multiple points, but at some point it just becomes expensive. So when you buy points, again, you're lowering the interest rate. So you're buying down the interest rate, but also it's another way of saying you prepaying interest is what you're doing. You are from DFW or based in the DFW. So I am based in the DFW market. So you have the point situation. So you don't have to buy down points, but one of the reasons that I made that comment to Chano earlier about new construction is because builders right now are buying the interest rates for you. So while you if you were to buy a resale home right now, your interest rate would be 6.56%. Well, if you buy new construction right now, you could get down to 4%, 5% in some communities. So they're buying down the interest rate for you. All right, lender fees. Lender fees is really, we're not going to really mess too much with lender fees, but lender fees are going to be 1 to 2% of the loan amount. Now with lender fees, every lender charges different. So what I encourage you to do, once you get this tool, this is linked down below, by the way, again, this particular Loan Clarity Advisor tool, once you get this in your arsenal, I would compare loan to loan. So whatever I got from Allied First Bank, from Wells Fargo, from Chase, or Rocket Mortgage, I would put down all the information that they gave me, and I would compare loans to see which one ultimately was less expensive for me. And here's that monthly mortgage insurance that we were talking about, which with the conventional eventually goes away, and with the FHA, it'll stay there forever. So let's look at the rest of this tool. Extra payments. You can make extra payments on your loan through this tool, and it'll factor those in. So if you want to make extra monthly payments towards principal, or extra payments in lump sum towards principal, you can do that here as well if you want to plant that scenario. We're not going to do that for this particular case because it's going to be too much for what we're trying to build here. So we're going to go straight into the cost of the loan. So if we compare the 3 loans after 10 years, we get to see how much it cost us after these 10 years. So in 10 years, that conventional 20%, the loan cost was $337. Now with an FHA loan, it would have cost us $112,000 more. So this is the cost of the loan. And then over here with a conventional 5%, you're looking at it costing you $100,000 more. So this gives you an idea of how much more you're paying based off of how much you're financing, how much you put down. Another thing to note is that here is your monthly mortgage insurance. You say that you would have paid $36,000 in 10 years for the mortgage insurance for a conventional, and then $30,000 for the FHA. Now with an FHA, you have that finance mortgage insurance, which is I think 1.725% of the loan value. So you're adding both of these together because you're paying more and more in insurance through an FHA loan, or essentially you're paying more in fees. Think of it that way. All right, and what's cool about this particular tool is that, yes, you can see that how much you're saving if you go 20% down, but you can also adjust it and based off of how many years into the future you own that home. So after the life of that loan, you would have saved almost $250,000 financing it with 20% down. Now, I recognize that not all of us have 20% down, which is $38,000 versus $34,000. So if you do have the 20% down and do not have another vehicle that would make you or save you this amount of money, then maybe consider putting that amount into your property. That'll help you save some money on the expense. How much do you think my payments will be monthly with everything for a house at $308? We don't really have to guess at that. I think I just did it. So roughly that would be roughly your payment if you do 5% down. And with that interest rate. Good question. Alrighty. So let's keep it moving and grooving. All right, so let's talk about the monthly payments on this particular home that we're buying for $689,000. So again, we're buying this house in Coppell. We want to move in here, and we are financing ourselves either with the conventional loan 5%, FHA 5%, or conventional 20% down. So this gives you what the monthly mortgage payment would be on year one. The reason I selected year one is because I want to illustrate several points. Number one is check out these three loans, regardless of what they are, how much goes into principal and how much goes into interest. Meaning, it doesn't matter what type of loan that you get, most of your payment is going to go into the interest. It's not going to go into your principal for the beginning part of your loan. So, and you can easily appreciate that through the amortization table. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see how much goes into principal and how much goes into interest. And although you're going to get a fixed interest rate, your payment's going to stay the same, but what goes into principal versus what goes into interest is not going to stay the same. You're going to see that as you make more and more payments, more and more goes into the principal than the actual interest. So you're not going to get into a inflection point where you pay more into principal than to interest up until year like 19 and a half. So here you're going to see that. Where's that break? In this particular right here, you're going to see that at this point is the first month that you actually pay more in principal than you paid into the interest. So you're paying essentially an accelerated amount in interest than anything else. All right, so let's keep it moving and grooving. Now, again, it gives you a breakdown of how much goes to principal, how much goes to interest, how much goes to property taxes, homeowner's insurance, mortgage insurance, and the HOA. We included here, although you're not going to be paying that in your mortgage payment, just to be clear. We just like to show it for budgetary purposes. So let's just say what would your monthly payment look like in 22 years. You're going to see that the mortgage insurance has gone away. Right, so that goes back to the conventional. Eventually, you get rid of that mortgage insurance. With an FHA, you don't. So you can play around with that there. Now, what I like to show here in the equity part is that at any point in time, you get to see how much of the home you own. Now, the best illustration I can give you on the importance of interest and how much you're paying in interest is this right here. So in the equity part, you would think that, well, it's a 30-year note. I have been making my payments for 21 years. Well, that only means 9 years are left, so I should own at least 60% of the home. Well, you would be wrong. The reason being is because you're going to see that in year 21, you're barely clipping 50%, at least with these two products, the conventional 5% and the FHA 5%. So in these 21 years, one thing to note is that most of your payment, or not most, you're paying more in interest than you were paying into the principal. So as you saw the break-even point or the inflection point of being like 19 years and a half or so before you started paying more towards principal than to the interest. That's why you don't own as much of the home as you would think after 21 years. After these 9 years, you have 9 years to essentially get the rest of the 50%. This just shows you the power of the interest that you're paying. The best way to go is put 20% down. If you got that 20%, 100%. If you got that 20% down, yep, that would save you a ton of money. No question. Loan details. So that other point that I was referencing here of when your mortgage insurance would fall off, on paper, if you go down the conventional 5%, on paper that mortgage insurance falls off after 10 years or so. Now that's on paper. This does not factor in the appreciation. As your home appreciates, your mortgage insurance will fall off sooner. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that after 7 or 8 years, your mortgage insurance falls off if the value of the home continues to rise. That's the only thing I wanted to show here in the loan details. Now let's talk about ownership. Let's talk about ownership and renting. That's something that comes up all of the time. Whenever you're buying a home, you have to think about your exit strategy. So let's just say you buy this house here in Coppell for $689,000. And after 10 years, you want to sell it. And you want to see, well, how much of an investment, what was that investment like? How much will I make? How much will I lose? What does that look like? Well, let's assume that year over year, your home appreciates 3%, which is reasonable. And also at the end of the rainbow, after those 10 years, we sell this home and it's going to cost us $6,000 to sell. 6% to sell. That includes, we're going to include realtor commissions. We're going to include title work. We're going to include everything under the sun. So the cost to sell. And then we're also going to assume that the property taxes are going to continue to rise as well. And we're going to say that year over year, they're going to increase by 3%. Same thing with homeowners insurance. Let's just say homeowners insurance is going to continue to rise year over year, which is a very safe assumption. So after these 10 years, this is what the scenario looks like. So what will my gain or loss be in these 10 years? So essentially, how much is it going to cost for me to live in the next 10 years is what we're doing. All right, so with the breakdown here, appreciation gained, we have after those 10 years, this home appreciated by $236,000. That's going to be the same across the board. Doesn't matter how you finance, the appreciation is going to be the same here based off of the assumption that we made. So we're going to say that the home appreciated after those 10 years by $236,000. The cost to sell is going to be the same, $55,000 or so across all three loans. The cost of the loan is what's going to be different here because you financed yourself in a different way with conventional, FHA, conventional 20%. So the cost was different across the board. Now with property taxes, it doesn't matter how you financed, you're paying the same in property taxes. The homeowner's insurance, same thing, and the HOA, we throw that in there even though, again, it's not part of your mortgage insurance, but it is a cost that you have. So after the 10 years, you're going to take the appreciation that you gain, which is a positive for you, and you're going to subtract these numbers to give you how much it actually costs to live in this home. So after those 10 years, you're looking at $500,000 for this conventional 5%, $510,000 for this FHA 10%, and then $98,000 with the conventional 20%. That's what it cost you to live in this home. That was your living cost for these 10 years. Now, for comparison, if you want to compare it to the rental amount, if you were to find a home or if you were to compare it to a home of reasonable, similar size, reasonable, same location, depending on how much the rental payment is, we're just going to assume it's a $4,000 payment per month with an annual increase of 3% per year. You're looking at your housing expense from a rental perspective, it would have cost you $552,000. That's where we compare the benefit of buying versus the expense of renting. Now, in some cases, you're going to find that if the home just doesn't appreciate, well, you might be better off renting, right? So this is not one of those tools that I use to really beat people over the head of, hey, buy. In some cases, it doesn't make sense for you to buy. But this is, again, one of the best ways that I've been able to find to illustrate just different scenarios where sometimes it might make sense for you to purchase, and other times it might not make sense for you to purchase. That really comes down to what your personal goals are. 20% of 30K is 60K. I believe that's correct. I don't do public math, so we're gonna do this times. Yep, $60,000 is what that would look like. So for you, if you're looking to put 20% down, channel, you would just do 20% over here, and then it would, you would be able to afford more of it over here, which is that calculation that you see there. Alrighty, well, that was our breakdown. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out. This is what it takes for you to purchase a property in Coppell. If you're looking for additional breakdowns on other cities, there's a ton of other videos, a ton of other live streams on this channel. If you're finding value in these videos, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. And if there's anything that we can do for you now or in the future, whether you're looking to buy or sell, our contact information is down below. Feel free to schedule a discovery call where we go through these scenarios with you to give you an idea of what it would look like if you were looking to buy or if you were looking to sell. Outside of that, see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.